the Solar Spectrum Sound and Vibration Therapy course. I am Damian Keller. I am a multi-instrumentalist musician and producer, certified audio engineer, certified tuning fork therapist, Reiki therapeutic touch practitioner, vibroacoustic therapy or low-frequency vibration therapy practitioner, inventor of color-gone chromotherapy lamps, and a published author and more. I began researching what are most commonly called healing frequencies in about 2010. As a musician and a sound engineer, I understand frequencies to be quantifiable. So in my extensive research and experimentation, I found many truths and many falsehoods, whether unintentional misunderstandings or actual deliberate disinformation. I keep the physics and the metaphysics in the forefront of my work and this class. Who should take the class? Well, the information and tools provided will be useful to both beginners and advanced practitioners of sound therapies and other healing modalities, such as massage therapists, Reiki practitioners, and teachers as well. You will acquire the ability to perform more effective work in your existing modalities while learning new ones you may wish to add to your practices. People with health issues of their own, like myself, as well as caretakers of others, will learn of easy and affordable therapeutic methods to utilize at home or within facilities to ease pain, aid in relaxation, and improve overall quality of life. Owners of healing centers may wish to incorporate new modalities into their practices and train their staff in the systems which are covered in this course. Musicians who are wishing to produce music that's more harmonious and attuned to the human body, mind, and spirit will benefit from the information in the class, and non-musicians will learn how to produce and record music for sound therapies. Visual artists and admirers alike will also attain a deeper level of understanding of meanings of the colors and their many correlations in their own art as well as in the works of others, which are not often taught in less advanced classes. About this course. Topics which are covered in the course are the Schumann-Earth resonances, proper pitch and temperament, the law of octaves, sympathetic vibratory physics, the intervals, brainwave entrainment, vibroacoustic therapy, tuning fork therapy, the chakras, Om as the sound of the universe, instrument selection and use, cymatic systems and software, chromotherapy, crystals and orgone, and much more. The certification is accredited by the American Council of Holistic Healers and the World Metaphysical Association. The course is not yet accredited for continuing education for licensed massage therapists. However, I will be applying for national accreditation for the modalities of tuning fork therapy, vibroacoustic therapy, and brainwave entrainment / music therapy in the near future. This will be available to students who have already taken the course at discounted rates, with additional materials, of course, and testing required to fit their criteria. Currently, continuing education tuning fork therapy certification courses are available from many centers, and vibroacoustic therapy would certainly add to any massage, Reiki, or other practice. I do include full instruction on the proper methods for both modalities within this course. Each individual state has its own massage licensing, and many states have no-touch laws. Certification in massage therapy, or say a PCT-CNA certification would suffice, but would be required for tuning fork therapy in many states and regions. So make sure that whatever you're practicing is safe and legal in your state or area. Vibroacoustic therapies using tactile transducer systems are in use in many treatment centers worldwide. Brainwave entrainment has also become extremely common, and no license is required, of course. Follow the guidelines I provide here and any by the manufacturers of systems. Never utilize brainwave entrainment under the influence of alcohol or drugs, legal or otherwise. So what you can expect from the class. We are all made up of waves, including the brain waves, and we're bombarded daily with negative frequencies from multiple sources. So these harmful frequencies can negatively affect our mood and physical health in many ways. So the best way to combat this is to utilize as many various modalities as possible in the proper ways to reset and attune the frequencies of our body, mind, and spirit to healthy and positive vibrations. So some of the new skills and tools I leave you with in this course will be full understanding of the spiritual science of sound and vibration, to the extent that you will hear in the world an entirely new, exciting way to become more sensitive to both positive and negative influences in your daily environments. You will learn the correct use of new and already available tools and modalities of therapies, including my chakra sessions and videos. There are isochronics for brainwave entrainment, ready to use for yourself, and much more. And also, my hope is that in time, with practice, you will be able to actually control your own brainwaves and heart rate at will to achieve a more relaxing state or more focus and attention, and even including some which stimulate production and turnover of serotonin and pain-relieving endorphins. I include many other valuable tools in the folders, including all of my books and charts, my 1-hour scale of 12/5 solar spectrum chakras attunement session with brainwave entrainment, as both MP3s and MP4 video files, numerous MP3s of isochronic brainwave entrainment frequencies for a multitude of purposes, some of which I just mentioned, and again, much, much more. I provide a lot of information about how to create your own music systems for sound and vibration therapies, and how to order and purchase instruments and other tools such as tuning fork sets. But I also provide enough materials for you to get started right away using the information included here in the class. The spiritual science of sound and vibration is a very broad topic with many individual aspects which are all interconnected. In the huge amount of information found online, very little that is correct can be found without much effort. A lot of it is either misinformation, again, if not purposefully placed disinformation. I'm personally not a highly classically trained musician, nor am I a fan of or proficient in math. However, I can understand it when it's relative to the work at hand. Music is math and physics, and so is the universe. It's actually shocking how many people are writing about and practicing sound and vibration healing modalities and theories with absolutely no understanding of basic music theory or basic physics. In fact, the majority of people publishing online articles, videos, and even books about frequencies in the New Age metaphysical and conspiracy theory and alternative media communities, they'd likely be very hard-pressed to even accurately define the word frequencies if asked point blank. So I've spent many years thoroughly researching and deeply investigating these topics, and it's my pleasure to share with you my findings. I hope to save you much time and energy and even money going down paths that are at best less than true, definitely misleading, and even potentially damaging in some cases. As I mentioned, I'm a multi-instrumentalist. My dad started teaching me drums before I started kindergarten, and later on I moved to guitar and bass, then keyboards. I began engineering, recording, and producing electronic music at age 16, and I've dabbled in horns and stringed instruments. I was certified as an audio engineer at Metro Tech in Omaha, Nebraska in 1993, and in 96 I moved to Chicago, Illinois to play in bands, DJ, perform audio and video production and editing for other bands as well as theater and dance companies. In 2009, I began researching healing frequencies, and I started with the Schumann resonances, the chakras, and Om. I ran into a few carefully placed misleading forks in the road along the way, right off the bat. After many years of diligent research and experimentation, I began lecturing, publishing books, and teaching this course. I want to be clear that I did not start out researching in this field with the intention to publish books or to teach others. I was born with Marfan syndrome. It's a constructive tissue disorder and heart condition, and my research was fueled by a desire to heal myself from migraines and a few other, some physical pain from my condition, to counter some of my bad habits. The abundance of misinformation and disinformation I found online lit a fire in me to expose the falsehoods and outright hoaxes and bring the truths to light for those who were seeking them. Then in 2011, a company in Schaumburg, Illinois, contacted me about my brainwave entrainment music they found online. The company produced vibroacoustic therapy systems utilizing music producers located in Nashville and Los Angeles. So they were seeking someone local who could work more closely with the systems, ensuring the levels were properly calibrated for each of the individual systems they offered. Shortly thereafter, I traveled to Landers, California to record my singing bowls and other instruments at the Integratron for use in my session tracks. Unfortunately, the company owner passed away shortly after I returned, and we never did work together, so I began constructing my own vibroacoustic therapy systems, and I've been utilizing them for myself and with clients since 2012. I began self-publishing my chakra charts in 2012 as well, a compilation of the many charts and books available. On top of it, I found endless conflicting theories of what music notes were to be associated with particular chakras and energy centers. Now, for the skeptics, chakras is just another word for the gland system. And so these color note theories, this multitude of them available out there in books and charts, fueled me to get to the bottom of what system of notes were actually right scientifically as opposed to merely intuited by people who may or may not be accurate in their own states to begin with. So, for example, have you ever wondered what are the right notes for the chakras? Is it maybe the C major scale of Stephen Halpern used in the modern crystal singing bowl sets? Or is it the solfeggio frequencies, as they're known? Or is it Fabian Maman system, who correlates the note F to the root chakra? Or maybe it's the composer and artist Alexander Scriabin's synesthesia and wild intuitions of the correlations of colors to notes that are actually correct. Well, of course, the answer is actually none of the above. Chromotherapy or color light therapy is another modality of the chakras, which is quite popular. And in 2013, I invented the colorgone bulb. It's a cone-shaped orgone transducer with a large silver anodized, copper-wrapped clear quartz crystal and moldavite, which is molded directly to a 16-color LED bulb with a remote. When used with a shop clamp lamp ballast and a microphone stand or camera tripod, it's easy to use for attunements, and it was recently discovered that LED light amplifies the piezoelectric effect of quartz up to 400%, so the bulbs are extremely effective, and at this time there are nearly 100 in use worldwide. Several of my vibroacoustic therapy systems are in use in centers and by private practitioners as well, utilizing my 1-hour session tracks and the colorgone bulbs. In the course, I provide information on how to order all the parts you need to construct simple and effective vibroacoustic systems, which are also very inexpensive compared to complete systems offered by companies online. After much encouragement from friends and family to publish a book, in July of 2014 I published Sounds Good, The Spiritual Science of Sound and Vibration. My friend and editor of the book, Yvonne Esther Nieves, requested I develop a certification course in the systems I had developed. She directed me to the American Council of Holistic Healers and the World Metaphysical Organization for accreditation, which I was quickly granted just in time for my first class of 15 students in October of 2014. Shortly thereafter, I was certified in tuning fork therapy at MSI Healing in Evanston, Illinois by owner Billy Topa Tate. The use of both the ohm and scientific pitch tuning forks correlated with some of the lesser understood information I was studying and applying at the time. Also around this same time, I was contacted by Dr. Gerard Altubeck, a member of the German Board of Radiology, who asked me to help conduct some research that I had actually intended to include in the first book, but could find no one to speak to me about. So this was to determine if, as doctors and scientists, knowing now what healing frequencies actually are, to discover if they're actually really encoded within the chanting of the Psalms, the cantillation of the Torah, and the recital of the Quran as the holy texts state. So halfway through reading my first book, he knew I was the person to contact to complete the project he and I had both envisioned, separately and thousands of miles apart, yet simultaneously. So together we carried out this extensive research and analyzations of the frequencies, tempos of the pieces he selected. So our research and findings closely tied to Rudolf Steiner's 1906 lectures on the musical intervals, titled The Inner Nature of Music. I delivered a talk on the topic as an update to his work at the Olcott Library of the Theosophical Society National Headquarters, and the work was included under several chapters in my 2015 follow-up to the first book titled Sounds Great, The Spiritual Science of Sound and Vibration, Volume 2, with the chapter on the Quran, authored by Dr. Gerard. The smaller format of the first two books rendered the charts a little difficult to read, so in 2016 I published the large format solar spectrum pitch and temperament frequency charts with intervals and cymatics, which I also made available free to download with a subscription to Scribd or, of course, by request from me for a free PDF. Yours, of course, are in your folders. I also published the Spanish version of the chakra charts translated by Carlos Velez. In the fall of 2016, I traveled to Sedona, Arizona to teach a class and visit and record in the magnetic vortexes there. The scientist who proved their existence, my friend Ben Lonetree, was a guest speaker at my class. In the spring of 2018, I traveled to Kuwait City to teach a class where Dr. Gerard was a guest speaker. On the way there, I visited St. Hildegard's Abbey in Bingen, Germany, where I interviewed Sister Lydia Stritzel, the music director and historian at the Abbey. I published the second editions of the first two books in a larger format, as well as the second edition of the charts and cymatics, before publishing the third and final book in the series, Sounds Amazing, The Spiritual Science of Sound and Vibration, Volume 3, in October of 2018. I then also published one large book containing all three, as well as the charts, for the convenience and a bit lower price for any people who had not yet purchased any of them. Also in 2018, I was once again kicking around an idea about defining the frequency ranges of the musical notes by their color octaves. Simultaneously, an article in a magazine on the topic was sent to me by an associate, which, in this article, the examples given shifted the notes up to what most musicians would consider to be the next note up. In other words, what they had listed for a frequency for C, most people would consider to be C sharp. Now, technically no law exists to say that this is incorrect by any means or any kind of variant system, even though it technically is. And again, within days, Dr. Gerard messaged me asking what the central frequency of each note would be in correlation to its color octaves. In other words, when you have the spectrum of color and then, say, the color of green, where exactly is that center frequency and what does that correlate to in its musical octave? This would all be useful for combined chromotherapy and music therapy. So I worked diligently on the math, utilizing Excel and multiple calculators, charts, and experimentation and other available information, and I published the results to academia.edu. It's now been read worldwide extensively, including numerous views by the London Academy of Arts. I continue to produce and release music and videos to my own YouTube and SoundCloud channels, as well as physical CDs of my music and my 1-hour vibroacoustic therapy session tracks with brainwave entrainment. They're all now available as well. Much of this is included in the materials here for you, so let's get started looking at the folders. First, open the folder titled Damian Keller Sounds Good, Sounds Great. In here you will find all of my books and charts, including a printable chakras coloring book for kids, and I will refer you to the solar spectrum, pitch, and temperament frequency charts with intervals and cymatics throughout the class, so you may want to print it out if you can. You will also find a folder of my music CDs. In each of the rest of the folders, you'll find the section's course video and any additional materials. There's also a document for each section in which you will find direct hot links to relative websites, information and references, articles, books, music, and videos. I would like to point out that throughout the course I will be recommending specific apps, software, and equipment, and I will provide the links to them, but I do want to make it clear here that I'm no way endorsed by any of these companies or products, nor am I in any way compensated for my endorsement of their products. I paid full retail price for any that any had, and many of the apps and programs are actually free. I've tried other products that were inferior and moved on, and I only speak highly of and recommend the products that I do because they work and they are truly quality and have withstood the test of time as well. In this first folder, the document also contains all of my links to my websites, email address, YouTube and SoundCloud channels, LinkedIn, WordPress, anything you can think of, it's there for you. I do recommend taking notes as you go, and please email me with any comments or questions at the end of each section. I will promptly reply and converse with you as you go through the course.